We are right here at the beginning of geometry and we have to establish some vocabulary. So our objective is I will know the vocabulary of geometry and we're going to talk about the basics. Here we want to talk about figures in no dimensions, 1 dimension, and 2 dimensions to start us off. The first one I want to talk to you about is a point. A point is just a location. It actually is an undefined term. And so we draw it as a point, a dot on the piece of paper or the board here, and then we label it usually with a letter. So I'm going to label this the letter A, and that has no dimensions to it. It's undefined. It's just a location. When we go to 1 dimension, I'm going to first of all talk about a segment. A segment is where you take 2 points, so A and B, and you connect them with all the infinite number of points that are in between them. We label that with A, B, and just a segment right above it. So it kind of makes sense because it looks like a segment above A and B, but no arrows on it. It just is a segment. Next, we want to talk about array. Array is where you have an endpoint. These are 2 endpoints, A and B, but here we're going to have just 1 endpoint, and then it goes in infinite direction in one of the directions. And so I'll call this A, and I'll call this B, and it's important which order you list them in, because since this starts at A and it ends at B, I'm going to draw the ray in that direction. Okay, so our ray has to have an endpoint, and then it goes off, and we have to have another point to label which direction it goes in. And lastly, in 1 dimension, we're going to talk about a line. Okay, a line is where I've got that ray that we just did, A and B, and it's a ray in this direction. And if we draw a ray in the other direction starting at A, notice these are opposite rays. Those opposite rays, when you put them together at A here, forms a line, something that goes infinitely in both directions. So we have that 1 dimension of heading this way, but it goes that way infinitely and this way. We label that with AB and then a line over the top of it. It could be also labeled as BA because it also goes through both points, but in both directions. Just like this could be segment BA instead of AB. All right, for 2 dimensions then, we start talking about planes. A plane is like this whiteboard or like the wall. They both represent the same plane. Now we draw it, it looks like it ends, but it actually keeps going on infinitely. So it's not just like a piece of paper, it's like a piece of paper that would go on forever in both directions. Now to label a 2-dimensional figure, plane like this, we need that A and that B, but we also need another point that's not on that line, because otherwise it would be just a 1-dimensional figure. So we find another point that's not on it, say C here, and now we have labels properly for this plane. So we have to write out the word plane with this to tell the readers what we're dealing with, and this would be plane ABC or BCA. You could label it in any way. So just like we have with this whiteboard on this wall as a plane, we've got endpoints like this silver would be a dot, it would be a point. I'd have 2 points here, just connecting them would be a segment. Starting at this one and going infinitely past through that one would be a ray. And if I went through both points and then infinitely in both directions, that would be a line. And then if we label 2 of these with a 3rd one, we would be able to label a plane that this whiteboard would be on. So for our vocabulary, we need to start geometry with some basic vocabulary, talking about points, segments, rays, lines, and planes, and from there we'll build the rest of our system of geometry.